What are you doing out here?
I'm doing stuff. Thanks.
You're listening to the Stuff and Things podcast. This week, coming to you from the UK only, please welcome your hosts, Sam and Stefan.
Holy forking shirt balls, Batman. I forgot how loud that intro was. Welcome to the Stuff and Things podcast. If you've been a long time listener of the show with The Walking Dead, hopefully you would have recognized that. If you can actually still hear us, I may vamp for a little while for the ringing to stop in your ears. That was our retro intro from back in the day. I am Sam. Joining me from the UK only, it's my partner in crime, it's Stefan.
Man, that was a throwback intro, wasn't it? That was like when I first started helping on this podcast, because it was, the other one was from the UK and the USA.
It was. This show started talking about The Walking Dead in isolation. Me, my friend Alfie, in the USA. You came in and Alfie retired from podcasting to focus on his little toy cars. Children. His children. I gotta get that right. Priorities. And we've run with the show ever since. But the show, its core, when it began, was about The Walking Dead. Stuff and Things. So the intro reflected that. And obviously as we decided to expand it, we changed the intro. But these are the final 8 episodes of The Walking Dead, as the show is, and so I thought we'd bring it back. Although, if people did get deafened by that, let me know, I will change it.
We can lower the levels. Lower the levels.
Yeah, I can try. I mean, I think that thing's just going to kick in and kick ass no matter what I do. So I want to open the show talking about the fact these are the final episodes. They're the final 8 episodes of The Walking Dead series.
Yeah.
And I kind of, we talked about it a while ago, and it feels like a long time ago now, when obviously season 11 was beginning, the final season. But they announced loads of spin-offs. And we were kind of like, oh, okay. Now, at that point, I think when they announced season 11, they announced one spin-off. And then they announced a second.
Yeah.
And now there's a third. Yeah. And then there's the Tales of Walking Dead, so that's 4. I got no doubt there'll also be 5, and I've been kind of racking my brain on this, because I kind of looked at it recently and I thought to myself, well, it's kind of strange. You got a show which, true, it's not the popularity of where it was. No show can sustain that. But it clearly still has an audience, because otherwise you wouldn't keep making spin-offs. There'd be no point. Clearly the actors enjoy the characters, enjoy being on the show, so clearly, there's a continuation there. Clearly the writers still have stories to tell. Do you see where I'm going with this? I've been kind of like thinking to myself, why go spin-off? Why cancel The Walking Dead? Why stop it at season 11? Because again, 11's like, if you stopped it at 10, I'd kind of go, 10 seasons, that makes sense. Yeah. You've stopped at 10. That's kind of like a nice box set for everyone's shelf. But to stop at 11 just feels odd. And there's other shows like Supernatural went like 18, like other series go. So there's no reason to stop. And then I watched this episode, and I watched it, and I was writing my notes, and like a bolt of lightning, I think I've worked that out. Mm-hmm. I worked it out because I watched this episode on Disney+.
Yep.
Now, people who listen to the show in America, I know there's a lot of you who are thinking, what? Disney+? So, basically, when the makers of The Walking Dead initially made it, they sold the rights internationally to Fox. Yes. So in the UK, for us to watch it, we had to watch it via our Sky system on a Fox channel, which was a dedicated channel.
It was a good channel back in the day.
It was pretty. It had some good shows on it. So that's why. And internationally, in all the different territories around the world, different companies aired it, or I think Fox mostly, but different brands of it.
Yeah.
As many people will know, Disney a few years ago acquired Fox Television Movies. So therefore, those rights now belong to Disney. So the Disney Plus streaming platform now airs The Walking Dead in multiple regions and countries around the world.
Which still makes me chuckle when you look at The Walking Dead on Disney Plus.
It is funny.
It's between Tangled and Toy Story. There it is.
Yeah, right there. However, this is what hit me. They only own the rights to the show, The Walking Dead. Every spin-off's a new property that is owned purely by the makers, and that's why they've ended it. It's got to be. It has to be the reason.
Yeah, see, I thought the original thing was that, the viewing numbers have tanked, so they've kind of gone, right, do you know what? Let's pull a stop on this one, and let's, almost like rebrand with the spin-offs and kind of re-pump up. Because we had The World Beyond and stuff, which was quite clearly for a younger audience. And
it didn't really catch on at all.
Didn't catch on at all, but I could see they went for the younger audience to try and bring a new generation into The Walking Dead.
They tried.
They tried. They tried, yeah. So that was where my thought was, but I think you're probably right, in fairness.
I have my moments. And like I said, it just came to me because it was the simple fact I'm watching it on Disney Plus, and it just occurred to me that Disney Plus now have those rights.
Yeah.
So the 11 seasons of The Walking Dead, I don't know how long the agreement's for, but I imagine it must be for a certain amount of time. They're all sat there.
Yep.
And if there had been a season 12, again. Now, the makers of the show have their own platform in the US.
Yes.
And they have their own channel in the UK, and I'm guessing they must have similar around the world. But me and you have discussed this before. Their channel in the UK is not what's the right word? It's not part of any package or anything that makes it really cost effective.
No, it's not inclusive to a lot of the deals you can get for your, a lot of places in the UK is TV and broadband together for this price and all that. And it's not one of those. You kind of have to then subscribe to that almost on top.
Yeah, it is an expensive add-on
on there. There's not enough content on there to make you go, oh, okay.
No. But here's my second realisation. I'm going to have to get it if I want to watch any of the spin-offs.
Yeah, I literally, as I was saying that, I just suddenly went, oh no, wait a minute.
So, see, the thing is it kind of opens up this greater debate about the sheer amount of platforms there are now. And I read an article recently where someone said the greed of corporations, everyone launching it, rather than realising maybe we should band together, Disney are a juggernaut. Little company on their own shouldn't, one production studio isn't going to be able to compete with Disney. But if I got together with 3 or 4, we could launch a platform that would have some pretty bloody good content on it.
Yep.
But they're not. They're all creating their own.
Well, it's even Paramount have made their own Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus.
And I'm like, I didn't even know there was that much out that was still Paramount, and they've created their own streaming service. I'm like, everyone's doing it.
Which they're creating original content for.
Yeah.
Paramount Plus, the thing that Paramount Plus does have, of course, which has a very loyal fan base, is Star Trek.
Yep.
That has got a fan base, and they own the rights to that, and they're never giving that up. So
that has got to be one of the biggest fan bases in the world.
Exactly, and in the UK at least, Paramount Plus comes as part of several TV packages, like Sky, for example.
Yeah.
It's free. So, yeah, there's a lot. And I mean, it is a separate debate, and I know this is a podcast talking about The Walking Dead, so I will crack on with the episode in a minute, I promise. But it just occurred to me that's why. It's ending at 11. So I thought I'd share that with the group. If you'd like to share thoughts with a group, see what I did?
That was good.
You can join the Stuff and Things podcast. Very new, very shiny, very cool Discord. Discord? What's that, I hear you ask? Well, I'm going to hand you over to Stefan right now, who's going to tell you. Take it away, big man.
So, yeah, Stuff and Things podcast has their own Discord service. We are now on there. If you go onto any of our social media, you will find the invite link, purely because you have to have 1,000 people before you can actually search us properly. But you will find our invite link on all of our social media. You can click on there, accept the rules, which is basically be nice to each other, and get on, and you can talk with people. We've got everything from Marvel, The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, a general hangout zone just to chat all things that you want to. It's building quite a nice little community kind of growing on there at the moment. And there's quite a lot of discussion. Even The Walking Dead one with this series now carrying on, there's conversation started in there about, what did you think of the episode? And it's a nice little place just to be able to chat, not just the presenters, but also to be able to chat to other like-minded fans as well, share theories. And hit the link and join the fun.
Thanks, mate. You did that so well, I wondered for a second if you had it pre-recorded.
I am thinking maybe I just need to pre-record one, and then when you go, it's over to you, Steph, you can just click, insert.
Yeah, I know, I'm an ass. I'm going to keep doing it. And the main reason why I'm going to keep doing it is I don't like it. People talk to me. They're really mean to me on there.
A couple of people have given you a bit of stick, to be fair.
They're really mean to me. So, if you want to be mean to me, go and join Discord.
Yeah.
Or date me, one or the other. So let's dive into the episode then. This is The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 17. The title of the episode was...
The Lockdown. Which if you live in the UK...
I thought it was just Lockdown.
Oh, I wrote The Lockdown. No, you're right, it is just Lockdown. I did write The Lockdown.
Failure.
That's just PTSD from living in the UK in the last couple of years, I think.
I was gonna say this to you, right? So anyone listening, possibly, and around the world, we had lockdowns.
Yeah.
Some more extensive than others. I don't know about you, but there was this moment where they did this kind of like siren. Everyone return their homes. This is a lockdown. And I genuinely had this chill, horrible, like, no.
PTSD kicking in, not doing it. No.
It didn't feel good. Yeah, no. It was...
No, it was not. Don't use that word. We do not use that word in Britain anymore.
No, it's you sort of like say that to someone and you want to crack them in the jaw. It is... Yeah, that was not clever. So let's kind of waltz through the episode. There was like an opening clip montage voiceover bit where we saw Rick. That I think was quite beautifully done to kind of reinforce this is the end.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not the end because there's loads of spin-offs, but
it's the end of the main journey. Yeah.
Yeah, because of money. So it was nice. At the same time, it was like, oh wow. I fear that might be the only time we see Rick, but
there is
you never know. You never know. We might be beautifully surprised. We also then have a cold open. Oh, before I get to the cold open, what do you think about the change in the opening kind of animation credits?
Now, I'm going to be 100% completely honest.
Okay.
I went to skip it.
Yeah.
And then went, oh no, someone said it's all changed. And so I watched it.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice. Now, it may have just been that I haven't seen The Walking Dead for so long because I've skipped the intros more times than not to get through. But I watched it and I was like, yep, there's the tree. Tree has leaves. There's the fork in the ground. The fork has vines. Okay, yep.
So you didn't notice you didn't notice the stormtroopers and the music literally change.
The music, I got the music, but no, that was it. I was watching it and I was like, oh, I didn't.
Are you? Catch on. I mean,
I was watching it on my phone. Just pointing. I was only watching it on my phone because I was meant to be at work.
Sidebar. This is just me and you now, right?
Yeah.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
Eyes okay?
Yeah.
Been Specsavers recently?
I got new glasses. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. That's right. Just a friendly thing.
I don't know. Like I say, I haven't watched the intro because I always used to skip the intro to get to the episode.
Yeah, but you didn't. Yeah. All right. Never mind. Okay. But anyway, so that was different. Apparently, to some anyway.
Yeah.
To others, same old.
A really cool change. Did you notice how the music changed and like The Stormtrooper guys in there. Really cool changes.
Yeah, I'm not editing that for you. Everyone gets to listen to you being a dumbass. Just like everyone got to listen to me talk about Jesus not being on the van. The cold open is then Negan, Maggie. We have Negan's partner. I can never think of her name. Who is Negan's wife?
Oh, dude.
What is her name?
Her name is
Negan's wife for the moment. Maggie's there, Gabe's there, and Daryl, and they're all there, and they're kind of running a bit of a pitch battle against Hornsby and his stormtroopers. And yes, they will continue to be called stormtroopers. One of the things that this episode demonstrated, and we kind of saw it a little bit towards the end, is the armor worn by these guys appears to be about as useful as the armor worn by actually stormtroopers in Star Wars.
Yeah, to be fair, there's quite a few times in this episode where you kind of go, oh, they're all armoured up. Oh, look at that massive big gap right by their side.
Yeah. Well, because it's like, you're sort of looking at it and I'm thinking, well, I appreciate that wearing that will, one-on-one with a walker, it tries to scratch you, maybe like goes and you could stick your arm in its mouth, because it ain't going to bite through that initially anyway. Mm-hmm. It definitely has an advantage. It does make sense, all right? Okay, so in this environment, I get it.
Yeah.
But they like in this episode alone, I think we saw like 10 of them just get taken out, like really...
Yeah.
Not in a difficult way, like one of them basically look up here, looks round and stab.
Yeah, Negan's wife is Annie, I believe, and she takes one's leg out, doesn't she? And back of the leg. Daryl stabs one up under the armour. Negan sneaks up one and stabs one.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're very walker-proof, but not very blade-proof.
No, clearly not. But like I said, this cold open's a bit like a kind of council of war. What the hell are we going to do? Mm-hmm. Negan's like, I'm all up for putting this asshole in the ground.
Yeah.
Negan being part of the team again is a weird feeling. it's kind of like, okay. There's a moment in this episode later on where this kid says, do you know who I am? And Negan gets right in his face like, do you know who I am?
I love that. Just as a one-line thing, I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I mean, in the comic book, it would have been, you know who the fuckity fuck I am. But yeah, in this, it was funny. It was just very Negan.
That kid
very
is such a brat. Yeah, such a brat. Do you know what I am? Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
No, I don't actually know.
It feels like in that moment, Negan could have easily been wrapping his bat and, renaming it for this kid. And I'd have been like, yay, go Negan. But like I said, they kind of come up with this plan, which I want to ask your opinion on this because this happens a lot.
Okay.
We need a plan. Ooh, I've got an idea. Blank screen. Credits. And then stuff's happening.
Yeah.
Is this becoming, and this isn't Walking Dead specific, is it me or is it becoming far too often in TV movies and stuff that they're just not showing us, like, I don't need a 10-minute, conversation, but these were people that were in the verge of being surrounded by Hornsby. He wasn't far from them.
No.
They were marching up on him. And yet what we're led to believe is that in that time, they came up with the idea for Negan to go full Whisperer, sneak up, take one out, put the gun in the radio by a van, which Daryl was going to hide in, hijack the car and drive out, whilst Daryl laid down cover fire. Daryl would then monitor the radio and try and take out the others and distract them, but if he heard anyone get called in, he would obviously try and cover Negan's ass. Also, as well as making that plan, they would also give Negan enough information that when he arrived at the Commonwealth, he wouldn't get shot on sight, would be allowed in, and also get an interview with the big man himself. When he got in front of the big man, he'd have enough information to get the big man on side to let him actually in.
Do you know what they really need?
What?
Louise from Ant-Man.
Yeah, or me.
Or you, because that was pretty impressive, yeah.
But it feels like I'm nitpicking, but I don't mean to be. It just felt like...
It was a hell of a plan in a very, very small amount of time.
It's like, oh my God, we're surrounded. You know, if Daryl had just, like, grabbed Negan and gone, right, they don't know you. You know, he does the line, like, they don't know your face. And Negan's like, okay, I'll do it.
I mean...
His missus wants to go, and he's like, no, look, this is me. I need to do this, or whatever. If Daryl had gone to him and said, right, come with me, I've got an idea, and you see those two walk off, you can then, in your mind, imagine they are walking and talking and coming up with an idea. The group then distract Hornsby, taking him in a different direction. You've then got a passage of time in your head where they've got time to walk and talk and get this in place.
Yeah.
But with them being in this not a very secure position, with Hornsby literally marching, getting bigger in the window as Daryl's looking at him, to then the idea that they all sat there and had a good chat about it, I don't know.
My thing was also, like, when and how did Daryl get into the vehicle? Like, at what point with the people being surrounding them?
Yeah.
Because we see Negan kind of walk out as a walker, and okay, fair enough. He could kind of blend himself in fairly easily because he's got the mask.
Yeah.
But like, at what point did Daryl sneak across the road, open a vehicle, get in, close the door, and lay down without anything?
I think you got to remember that Daryl is redneck in the apocalypse, and they are basically ninjas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone makes fun of the redneck until the apocalypse. I remember that being on a T-shirt.
Yes.
And it was a great T-shirt. So they do have this plan, and like I said, and Negan does, put the pedal to the metal and gets to the Commonwealth and does get taken in front. And we see him meet Mercer. I love that, by the way. The big
Mercer,
the
two big guys. Yeah.
Yeah. That was kind of a little bit of like meeting of the minds. Negan
like
kicking back in his chair.
Friends. Like if it wasn't a zombie apocalypse, you feel like those two would get on great.
Potentially, yes. Although I think Mercer's a little bit too law and order for Negan. Mercer appears to be about duty, honor, protecting people. Negan, he was saving people in his way. Saviors, I'm not sure. But him being kicked back, his feet up, full Negan mode, and it's kind of like the way he talks in code a little bit to him. The guy's like, okay, go get some water.
Yeah.
And he's like, who sent you? Well, you think you know who sent me. It was Daryl Dixon. We've still got, your friend Hornsby is out there. What was it he says? Says something like a shirt and tie wearing son of a bitch. He's out there trying to kill my people.
That's it, yeah.
Now, we can take care of him, but we're worried about, we got kids in here, so I've been sent in to look after him.
Yeah.
Can we just clarify here? What a turnaround that the group are sending Negan to look after people.
I love it, yeah, because it kind of comes out. So Negan's like, we've got people we need to protect, which Mercer's like, that's my job. And I got sent here anyway.
I know, it was a good line, wasn't it?
Almost like, well, if you were doing your job properly, Daryl wouldn't have sent me himself, would he? Come on.
He was like, we have rules. Yeah, well, if no one else is playing by those rules,
why are you doing it then?
I really, me and you have talked about Mercer a lot since he got introduced. I really like him. I still think that he is, if we're going to use the old Dungeons and Dragons, like literally neutral good or just good.
Yeah.
The guy is lawful. He wants to do things right. I think it means he's definitely going to die before the series ends.
Yeah, 100% he's got to die.
But I think it's going to be heroic as hell. I think he's going to die doing something like saving people. He's going to die doing something amazing.
Okay, saving Daryl. That's my...
I think he's going to die saving his sister.
Oh.
I think his sister's involvement in breaking the story, and something's going to happen, and I think he's going to step in and
Oh, okay.
I don't know, just a thought. The kind of Negan does get in, and we have this shot of Negan being inside the Commonwealth looking around, which was, some might say, was kind of a pointless moment, but for me it was brilliant because he's looking around like, what the is this? This is the normal world again. What
like,
the
he stood out the
balls?
front of a theatre and stuff, and he's just like, what is going on?
And like people walking past with ice creams, there's a protest going on. His face is just a picture of like...
And then big good old Jerry walks up. Hey man, how's it going?
Okay, so there's two aspects to this. One, wonderful to see Jerry again.
Yeah.
Two, I thought Jerry was going to be hurt and or killed in this episode. And I was not in a good place with it.
I've got to that stage now where there's a couple of characters that I absolutely love in this show.
Yeah.
And it's now got to the stage where I'm like, actually, do you know what? I don't want to see them on screen anymore.
No.
Because
when I see
on
them,
screen,
I'm like,
there's a chance they could die.
No, they've given Jerry lines this week. They're making
Jerry,
me love him even more.
Jerry, Connie, Rosita, they're like three of the characters where I'm like, stop putting them on the screen. Stop it. Let them
bad.
just blend into the background for a few more. It's fine. There's 7 episodes left. They don't need screen time anymore.
There's like 7 episodes. Let them coast home. Come on. Come on. Give us that. Jerry takes Negan to see Carol. Obviously, Carol's the one Negan wants to see because, you know, Carol's the badass. We all know that. Carol, in the meantime, of course, is looking after the kids. She's got Gracie, she's got RJ, and she's got Little Ass Kicker.
That is brave.
I know, if any of them so much as sneezes, she'll set fire to them. They look at flowers, they get shot in the face. But honestly, Carol babysitting service...
No! RJ!
It's a terrifying thing. I mean, you know, she's had what? One kid of her own die, an adopted son die. I mean, she is not...
Killed another kid.
It's not funny, is it? I shouldn't make these jokes. Anyway, so babysitter Carol, with her shocking record of babysitting, is with the kids. And we've seen that Hornsby has managed to get a communication back, or a fragment of one, and he sent a couple of his agents to go after the kids.
He sent Stephanie, that's not Stephanie. Yep.
Yeah, that bitch. Got an eye on her. But basically, Hornsby's agents go after the kids. Now, obviously, the plan for him is get the kids, hold a gun to the kids' heads, shout to Daryl, I've got the kids, if you don't surrender, they die. And Daryl would obviously surrender.
Instantly, yep.
Yeah. But Carol spots these agents coming, hides, with a knife, by the way. They leave, but they do take a picture of RJ and Little Ass Kicker. Judith, just to prove that I do know the name, but I'm calling her Little Ass Kicker because that's traditional, and this is old school.
Yeah.
You know, listen to the intro. And so they have that, hide. She then comes back out. There's another knock at the door. It's like, but it's Jerry. Opens the door. It's Jerry, and it's Negan.
Which is just what a scene. Yeah, her face of, what the fuck?
There's one thing I was a little bit sad about in that scene. We didn't get a Judith Negan moment.
Yes, the kids were in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Why were the kids not allowed out the bedroom once they worked out it was Jerry
she told them to hide because she didn't know it was... I wanted a Negan and Judith
It would have been a
moment.
nice
They've not
little
seen
scene.
each other for ages.
Yeah.
They get on ridiculously well. He literally nearly died to save her.
She would have come running out, giving him a hug, and it would have been like, oh.
No, I don't think she'd have done that. I don't think she's that kind of person. I think she'd have walked down and gone, "Hey, dickhead." And it's like, language, Miss Grimes. But yeah, but it would have been nice. So, little missed opportunity. I'd like to see an interaction between those two again. I did also think to myself, you know, the whole idea that this is the show ending. Wouldn't it be funny if... great if Rick Grimes returned. Could you imagine this whole Commonwealth thing? It's like coming undone. Everything's getting messed up. And the Commonwealth put a call out to their ally. Their ally is, you know... what are they called? Civic Republic.
Yep.
You know, we're having trouble, we're having dissonance, we're having issues controlling our population. come on, bring a herd, smash this place to the ground and evacuate us. And you've got like all this stuff going on, all these fights going on, and the helicopters come in and land. Out steps up one of these people out of the helicopter, takes his helmet off, and it's Rick. And he looks over and there's Judith next to Negan.
Yeah. What the
his
shit?
face, like, yeah, literally, the last line of The Walking Dead ever is, what the
Yeah.
and the show ends. And that's it. And just, yeah, but no, I personally think at the end of the final episode, there'll be an after credit scene which might feature Rick. That's it. I don't think we're going to see him in the actual main show, which is gutting to me. But that's what I think anyway. Hopefully I'm wrong.
I still think the ending needs to be the one that Rick Grimes himself came up with.
Yeah. Well, that won't happen now because they killed Carl off. But anyway, so going back to it, Jerry takes the kids and he's pursued by the agents.
Yep.
This is the moment where I thought Jerry was in trouble. There's this moment where they got the ladder and he got the kids up there, and I just felt like he was going to get stabbed or something.
You and me both, brother. You and me both. Yep.
But he made it up there, he hid, and he's a big dude, so hiding up there was not an easy thing for him, but he gets away with it, and he gets the kids sort of stowed away. One of the other funny things is kind of Carol, basically, since she's got in there, has been plotting an escape. Plotting a kind of, if I need to get out, this is how I do it.
Very Carol. Yep.
If I need to hide, this is where we hide. I've hidden supplies, like she said to Jerry.
Like an attic space or something full of supplies, like you ordered.
Have you still got access to that attic space full of supplies? Yes, take them there. I was like, what the? And Negan's like, what the? Who are you?
Yeah.
Goddamn Rambo.
Like every time we get something good, Carol's already got an escape plan just in case.
Yeah. And proven to be correct over and over again, depressingly.
Yes.
So we then see Negan and Carol go hunting for the character best known as Little Git.
Yes.
I've cleaned that up a lot.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it Sebastian?
Sebastian, yeah.
Yeah, Sebastian, yeah. We've all known a Sebastian, haven't we? He is hiding. And the reason why he's hiding is because a news story has broken within the Commonwealth about the missing people for money situation that's been going on. Yeah. We as the audience know it's him because we watched him go out there and force Daryl and Rosita to try and go into a house to retrieve stuff, and they found the people in there.
Yes.
So we know he is heavily involved.
Yep.
If not completely him. We know, therefore, when Negan and Carol do find him, and he's like, oh, I can't go to my mum, don't make me go back to my mum, and Carol's like, yeah, you're going back to your mum, she'll be fine, it's your mum at the end of the day, she'll look after you.
Yeah.
And she takes him back there, and he says, I didn't do it. We're like, you lying little...
Yeah.
But the thing I liked about it, so two parts of this. On the way back, someone spots him. Negan tries to cause a distraction. Negan gets put on his ass by a soldier.
Yeah.
Not sure if Negan's now under arrest or something, so that's one thing to think about.
Yeah.
The second thing to think about is Carol doesn't care if he did this. Carol doesn't care if he's innocent. Carol doesn't care about anything. Carol has seen an opportunity.
Yes.
And her opportunity is freaking genius. It is absolutely brilliant.
Carol is always like one step ahead in 4D chess.
This is the thing. Now, me and you, I think, have been rightly critical of a lot of what Carol has done in certain aspects of the show. Because we've looked at it and gone, your actions have led to deaths and all of these different things. But at other points in the show, we've been rightly blown away by her actions as selfless so well calculated and thought out.
The whole whispering thing, the whisperers even.
Yeah,
so much.
Her actions in that were atrocious. She endangered and killed. It was awful. However, in this instance, credit where it's due. Like you just said, she is playing 4D chess while they're playing checkers, and and the funny thing is, like, I never clicked at all what the hell she was thinking finding this kid until she literally said to the woman, well, if he didn't do it, the public will need someone. By the way, your Hornsby chap is currently hunting my friends outside of the walls. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Ooh, maybe we could help each other. My problem, your problem. One of the questions me and you have asked for quite a long time is just how close Hornsby and the leader, this woman actually are. Because they felt a little bit like political rivals at times, but then at other points she's like said, find out, and he's like, I will. It's like they're on the same side. So actually how close and how aware is Pamela Milton of his actions? Because is she bullshitting in this moment? Or is she genuinely like, he's not out there doing anything in my name? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's difficult because you'd like to think that obviously she is like, the head person. So therefore, if anyone is going to know exactly what's going on, it's going to be her. However, if he is gone completely off the radar, under the hand, and I remember us talking on the podcast before about maybe he wants to actually be the guy in charge. So is that why he's set up all this stuff? And she genuinely... She's being painted out to be this bad guy, but actually it's going to turn out that she could be the good guy because she's like, I had no idea about what my son was doing. I have no idea about what Hornsby's doing. She could now really surprise us by turning it around and going, no, I'm with you guys, actually. Yeah, this is all wrong. Let's sort it out. And we'll all be sat at home going, what?
Yeah, I'm not sure still. I'm very much on the fence with it. I can't... I think because she's actually... the actress is doing such a phenomenal job with the character of playing that kind of straight-faced to everything, which makes it impossible to actually identify what's kind of, okay, when you're just talking and you're happy, you pull that face when you, this is difficult. It's hard to actually gauge. It's a kind of like political training thing. And that's being done as part of a character work because, of course, when she sees her son, you see the relief, the emotion, followed by the anger. which, by the way, if any parents ever had a kid go missing at any point, even if it's like 30 seconds in a supermarket, you go through the emotional ringer of, oh my God, I thought I'd never see you again. So why did you walk off, you little fucker? Yeah. It's like instant. So... I identified with that. And also just genuinely it's my son. He says he didn't do it. To me, that's the end of it, and everyone else in the room's going, bullshit. But she's kind of like, no, it's my son. He's a bad egg, but he wouldn't kill people. We know he would. We're all there
going, yes, he would.
Yes, he would. Yeah, he's a piece of crap. So what next? What is kind of like, what do we do next? Where does this go? You think, I don't know, I mean, are you kind of on the fence with me, or do you think that she is actually going to prove to be a trustworthy person in this moment? But even if she is, she's not going to condemn her son. Like, even if they show evidence and he admits it, she's not going to go, oh, in that case, let the mob have him.
No, she's not. And I'm on the fence to see which way it's going to go because it could go either way. But again, like you say, she's not going to hand her son over unless he's really. I mean, that would be a turn up, wouldn't it?
It would. It would be really crazy. I mean, he kind of described it. It was kind of funny. He said no.
Okay.
It's kind of funny because the son said, her son is the Commonwealth. I'm an inconvenience.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, kid, yeah.
Yes.
Abso-friggin-lutely you are.
Oh, yeah.
What did you think of the kind of small story with Mercer and Rosita in this episode?
Why are you not in uniform? I'm having a personal day. Not today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, Rosita on the screen both makes me very happy and very worried.
Yeah.
This is a character that
I
really,
I know
really
your
hope
affection.
doesn't die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Christian Serrato's is possibly perfection. Yes. Very, very worried about if her character is going to survive, because over the last couple of seasons we've seen her start the family and go through lots of loss and growth and everything else, and I'm like, oh, that's a storyline that could end in a bad way, and I'm very worried about it.
Yep.
There's a particular scene in the trailer which doesn't look great. So, yeah. And then she kind of she puts her armour on and she's like, yep, come on then, let's go deal with this swarm outside. And I'm like, no.
Speaking of the swarm outside, did Pamela Milton order that to happen? So she leaves her office, she gets in the car, and she gives an order to somebody. Yeah.
Now, I thought the order at first was going to be the lockdown thing, but then all of a sudden, this swarm comes out of nowhere, and you're like, well, we've seen...
And when Mercer was asked, how did they get past the first checkpoint, Mercer says someone's not done their job properly. Or Pamela Milton has released a swarm, towards the city to make them lock down to kill the protests.
Yeah.
Now, that puts her back into the Sinister block, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? And it was a very, very conveniently timed... I like the fact they call them swarms. So that's the real silly thing for the show for it. I have loved the fact that every group we've met, walkers, rotters, the dead, hordes, swarms. I love the fact that it just... Because it's true as well. If it was real life, it's true. You'd go somewhere else and they'd call it a different thing. And I've always liked that. No one calls them zombies. I love it.
That word doesn't exist in this universe, according to Mr. Kirkman.
Which I love. But yeah, this horde, and then him saying, someone hasn't done their job. They've got past like 2 checkpoints. They're in on the 3rd. It's like, well, wait a minute. This has happened at a very, very convenient time.
Yeah, massively,
We've also seen how the Civic Republic, they had the ability to kind of draw hordes in and take out entire civilizations. So there's clearly people that know how to do that.
Yeah, I do look at it and think that... Yeah, I mean, we've still not seen any evidence of the Commonwealth having any contact with the Civic Republic. I'm hoping there is, because it would help tie everything in. Otherwise, basically the main show's going to end and the Rick Grimes stuff is going to have to tie purely the fear of The Walking Dead. Yeah. Not a massive problem to me, but just seems strange when he's a character from the main show. Yeah. Although it would mean him possibly reuniting with Morgan to finish, which would make me happy. Yes. But the Mercer Rosita thing, the other aspect is they go outside in these jeeps, heavy machine guns on the back. Every time we've seen these people in action, very accurate, very well disciplined, very well drilled. But the army.
But apparently they can't drive for shit.
But I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, what exactly is the plan? Yeah. Are they driving with a view of follow us and we drive them back out? Or are they driving with a view of, we're going to kill them all? Because there just seems to be like 2 jeeps. Now that is a decent sized swarm. Yep. You could easily, with the weaponry they've got there, between the 2 jeeps, really, if they just opened up one at either end, should have been able to deal with that. But also, Mercer's there in a 3rd jeep, and they've got all those other troops there. If they were going to take them out, surely just all go and take them out. Why? I didn't get what the actual plan was. I'm guessing it must have been the idea was to drive around them and then make them follow the jeeps. But then one of the jeeps crashed and it all went to hell. The
guy managed to flip his jeep on a very slight hill.
Yeah.
That guy should not have been allowed to drive. He did not pass his license.
No. I'm guessing we could possibly cut him some slack that perhaps he's only driven in the zombie apocalypse and there were zombies.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that one. He's going to eat me. Oh my God, I crashed. Mercer drives in to try and rescue these guys. One jumps in the Jeep. One's trying to fight his way there.
Mm-hmm.
And Mercer grabs him. And we have a quite disgustingly gross death.
Tug of war.
Where the walkers rip this guy apart as Mercer's holding him. What I know in the show, you're seeing it very dramatized, but so probably really Mercer's held this guy for seconds, but it felt like he's holding on to him for a long time.
Yeah.
When surely his brain at some point should have gone, oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
There is actually no point of me holding on to your face, my friend. They've eaten your legs. So, bye.
I think for Mercer,
sorry.
I think with him, it's a case of he is so desperate to be protecting people and helping people.
Yeah.
That was the part that he couldn't let go of the guy because he was like, I've got to save him. I've got to save.
I think you're
his
right.
legs have been ripped off. No, I must save him.
They are now munching through his torso.
Yeah.
I think it could have a massive impact on him.
Yeah.
I think when he gets back, now imagine he then learns that swarm was let in on purpose.
Yeah.
It could be really interesting. Mate, that's all my bullet points. Are there bits and pieces I've missed? It's possible because I really enjoyed the episode and I ended up not writing a lot.
The only other thing we need to talk about is Yumiko, Connie, and their little group, really.
Okay.
Yumiko is obviously now working, it seems, very closely with Pamela.
Yeah, but at the same time, a little bit adversarial.
Yeah, but also, definitely very much on the side of Mercer's sister, Connie, and that lot.
Yeah.
They are desperate to see this to carry on going and to not just stop because, she's apologised to everyone, we'll die it all down. They're all like, no, keep stoking the fire. Keep stoking. Let's get this going. There's a scene between Magna and Yumiko about how, look, if it all goes wrong, Magna, you're the one who knows when to get out. Which is kind of ironic, considering she left Connie to die in a cave.
Yeah, no comment.
That doesn't seem to have been addressed in any way, shape or form. Like, that's the thing that one of the big bits that bugs me about this storyline. Is that surely Connie knows that Magna left her to die. Why has this not been brought up in any way, shape or form?
Maybe she doesn't.
Like, it's one of those just, I'm like, oh, come on, like, they made it such a big thing in, like, that series about she came back and there was this big thing about Connie's being left by her and, it's terrible, and then forgotten about.
Yeah.
And it's like their little group is now back together again. I'm just like, there should be something there. There should be some little... Even if it was just a conversation that we saw or something, just something.
Imagine you get to the final episode. They're trying to escape. The walkers are on them. They're all climbing a wall. Connie reaches out her hand. She reaches up and Connie goes, "Laters, bitch," and goes.
Sign language is back. Fuck you. Goes.
Yeah, just a middle finger, and then goes. Would you feel better then?
So much better.
Okay,
much better.
Good.
Okay,
good. I'm glad.
But yeah, they seem to be playing a very dangerous game with Connie being like the main reporter. Pamela Milton's obviously turned round to Yumiko and gone, well, the biggest reporter here is your friend.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to start really bubbling up. I think that could be an interesting storyline to kind of stay with as well. Or the fact is that's the deal that Carol's trying to make, and Carol's going to kind of get everyone a pardon because we've dropped off your son. I think it's going to go one or two ways.
I think right now, Carol's focused on the people outside of the walls becoming safe and Hornsby being put to the sword. I think that's where Carol's head's at. But I think Hornsby's... The more I think about it, I think Hornsby's actually working with Pamela. And I think Carol's trying to manipulate a divide between the two that I think publicly is there, but in private, I don't think it is. Remember, because like I've been on the fence about this for so long, but that one scene nags at me where there was like a protester at an event, and he just stepped out of the shadow behind her, and Pamela Milton went, "Look into this," and he went, "I will," and just like went back in the shadow.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you are really at odds, like you are really sort of political or ideologically opposed, that's not your working relationship.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm the face, I'm the public persona, I'm the smile, you're the knife in the back, in the dark. You know, because he goes out, meets people all happy and smiley, but then we've seen that flip on him, and yeah, so there we go. Okay, there we go. That's our show. That is The Walking Dead. This Walking Dead Wednesday. Big thank you to everybody for listening to us. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll be back next Wednesday again to discuss a show. Hopefully your hearing's recovered from the intro. You'll be delighted to hear us our normal outro. Nice and chilled. But until next week, you all take care.
And just for you, Alfie, that's a wrap.
Thank you for listening to the Stuff and Things podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on Facebook or online. Simply search the Stuff and Things podcast to join in our conversation every week.